Welcome back. It's Carton and Friends. This is day one. And I'm pleased to have on the hotline a nice surprise, an old friend, former New York Yankee, not once but twice, World Series champion. I believe he beat the Braves in both World Series. Has another one of those classic New York Yankee home runs as well.
Yep, memory from my youth.
There you go. It's
youth with an F.
Jimmy Leyritz. Jimmy, Carton and Friends. Thanks for jumping in, buddy. How you been?
What's happening, Craig? How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. Thanks for calling. I didn't know you were going to call today, but I appreciate it.
Well, you know what? I got a message. I live with Dean Spinato, my buddy here in Hicksville. And Lou is one of his buddies, and he called and told me that I didn't even know that you were coming back on the air today, and I just wanted to say, you know what? I support you, man. I've always been there for you, and I wish you nothing but the best of luck.
I appreciate it. Jim and I became friends about 5 years ago. I'd say good friends through a charity softball. And yep. I invited, I'll be all cards on the table. You know, Jimmy had gone through some stuff everyone knows about. And I said, listen, the Jim I know is a good man. And I invited Jimmy to play in a charity softball game against a lot of people's wishes. And I said, if you're a friend, you're a friend. And Jimmy had become a friend the year before. And Jimmy came out and never missed a charity softball game. And we've talked a lot over the last year or so. Wrote a great book, by the way, if you're looking for a good, fast read. And it's nice to have you as a friend, and I appreciate you calling in. What are you doing for opening day today? Any big plans?
No, actually, I'm just going to watch the game on TV. Tomorrow night, I got a charity event in Morristown, New Jersey, to raise money for the Welcome Home Warriors campaign that I'm working on to stop the suicides and raise money for that. And then I'll be here for opening day on Monday when the Yankees open up.
I was gonna ask, are you going to be at the stadium on Monday or no?
Yep, I'll be there Monday and Wednesday. So, yep, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a great year for the Yankees. And it looks like the Mets couple of years ago. It looks good on paper, so we'll just see if they can stay injury-free, whether or not we can have a great year this year.
Yeah, you experienced that in '96. Obviously, '95 was the start of everything. But as young as the team was in '96, there's probably some comparisons that you can relate to as a Yankee player, right?
Well, I think it's kind of eerie. Aaron Boone steps into where Joe Torre basically came in with a team that's ready to win. And it's one of those things that you take over as manager and you just tell the guy, hey, listen, just go out there and just don't screw this thing up because we got a hell of a team and we got a good chance to win.
So everyone, when they think of Jim Leyritz, they think, of course, of Mark Wohlers in Game 4 of the '96 World Series. But what people forget, that your home run was not like a ninth-inning win-the-game home run. You guys were trailing big, if I remember, in that game, and were facing being down 3-1 in the series. So your home run tied the game. It didn't win the game, right?
Yep, exactly. That's one of the people I think I tell people all the time. They're like, you must have been in heaven, running on air when you hit that home run. I said, no, the only thing I could think of is if this only tied the game, and I hit a home run in '95, which was a walk-off against Seattle, and we ended up losing the series, that home run became a footnote. I knew that if we didn't win that game and win that series, that it would have been the same thing. And fortunately, we were able to win the game, and then we were also able to win that series.
Right, because you win the game later on to tie the series at 2. And for those of you that never heard it before, here's Jimmy's at-bat to tie the game at 6 in Game 4.
2-2 pitch. Hit in the air. Deep left field. Playing back. Andrew Jones at the wall. Looking. Goodbye. Home run. Tie game. Jimmy Leyritz has tied this game up on a 3-run homer.
Now, what were you looking for on the 2-2 pitch?
I couldn't lie to you and tell you that I was looking slider. I was looking fastball all the way, and I just got lucky and was able that he hung it, and I was able to stay back and hit it out. So,
now, I always wondered, when you connect on the ball in that spot, do you know immediately that ball's out of here? I know, and Andrew Jones at the time was Andrew Jones playing his ass off. Did you know you hit it hard enough to hit it out?
Yeah, I felt like I got it good enough, and especially being in Atlanta where during batting practice the ball was carrying pretty well. And I just it was a matter of, until I saw the replay, I didn't realize how close Andrew Jones got to catching that thing, but I thought it was out the whole time.
And I never asked you this question. Obviously, '96 is the great year, the World Series and all that stuff. After that season, the Yankees traded you, and they traded you for basically two no-name guys, players to be named later. Were you crushed by that, or from a business standpoint, were all cards on the table? You knew that was going to go down like that?
No, that was actually a favor from Mr. Steinbrenner to me, because I asked him that I wanted to play every day, and he went to Joe Torre and asked him if in '97 was Jimmy going to play every day, and Joe said no, that they were bringing in Posada and they were re-signing Girardi, and that I wasn't going to play every day. And Mr. Steinbrenner told my agents, if you can find a place that he can play every day, I'll make a trade. And sure enough, the Angels stepped up with a 3-year deal and an opportunity for me to go there and be the everyday catcher. So, and that was a great story with Mr. Steinbrenner, how he was. I went in to say goodbye to him when I was working out at the complex in Tampa to say thank you for everything. And he said, what are you doing back in your bags? He goes, you can continue to work out here. You will always be a Yankee.
Wow.
And that was just the class act that he was. And, we miss that man dearly.
Yeah, I've always said, and I'd never met George Steinbrenner, so I have no personal connection to him. He has one of the great quotes that, listen, in our lives, you meet a lot of people, you hear a lot of things, and not a lot of those quotes stay with you. There's one quote that's attributed to George Steinbrenner, and he didn't say it to me, but it's quoted by him, which has always had a significant place for me. George Steinbrenner once said that if you do another person a favor and 3 people know about it, you did it for the wrong reason. And when he right?
Yep, that is you're so right. I mean, that's the thing that he used to do things for people and say, listen, I'll give you money for the next 5 years, but if one person knows about it, I'll cut it off. He did not want that, but he did so much. And when he passed away, all these people finally came forward to tell the stories, and people got a whole different side of George Steinbrenner.
Yep. And I know, listen, he may have been a pain in the ass and a tough guy to do business with, and there's a lot of people that dislike him, but there are so many of those stories. I mean, dozens and dozens of stories. Random people that you have no connection to, who finally came out and said, listen, I wouldn't be alive today. I wouldn't be this. I wouldn't be that today without the generosity of George Steinbrenner. And I'll say this, having been very involved with NYPD charities, the New York Yankees started one of the great charities in America, in which if an officer unfortunately loses his or her life in the line of duty, the New York Yankees make sure that the kids of that officer have money to go to college. And they write a check.
It's a Silver Shield thing, isn't it?
Yep, it's a Silver Shield Foundation.
Yep.
And they don't get almost any attention for it, but every slain officer's kids has never had to worry about the cost of going to college, and that's through George Steinbrenner and no one else. So, he's maybe misunderstood. I'm sure he had his bad moments as well. Well documented, but if 3 people know about it,
put it this way. Yeah, Carton. Put it this way. It would have been tough to be a front office guy working for him. I understand that because he was. But as far as somebody that needed help or somebody, once you became a New York Yankee and you were a Yankee, he was loyal to the day you left. He would fire somebody and the next day call him up and say, okay, if you can't find work in a week and and your family's hurting, just call me back and I'll find something for you to do in the organization that you can continue to support your family. I mean, that's just the kind of guy he was.
Now, when you used to do that bat flippy thing like Mickey Rivers, was that a crutch, or was that an ode to Mickey, or did that just become something like a lot of baseball players have their routine? Did it become something where you couldn't help yourself and you had to keep doing it, or was it something else?
It was one of those old baseball superstitions. I did it in junior college twice, and I hit a home run each time. And from that point on, I did it every single time. So it became a superstition more than anything.
Well, listen, I appreciate you calling in. It's a nice surprise. And I think it's great you're doing this charity event tomorrow. And we'll stay in touch, and I hope to see you soon, bud.
All right, brother. I love you, man, and I'm wishing you nothing but the best of luck.
Back at you. There's one of the great Yankees, Jimmy Leyritz,
Shout out to Jimmy Leyritz.
Yes.
Momentum changing home run in '96.
Tied it at 6. Yep. They wound up winning that game. They tied the series at 2, and then they won 4-2. They didn't lose another game.
That led to the sweep.
But if they were down 3-1, a lot of people listen. They were still.
It might have been over at that point, but that changed the momentum of that series.
100% right, and they were down 6-0 in that game too. Frank.